Archie Moss. We met through a mutual person that we know, and he came to my office and he was telling me about his program, and he was just so excited, you know, and he was so excited I got excited. And so we were just, you know, having a power session, you know, in there. So we talked back and forth of, you know, how we could expand the reach of his program, of what he was doing here in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. And as I do a lot of times, I say, I had this idea, and here's what we could do. But I was really so impressed with the work that he was doing with the young men. I personally invited them to come to the conference and present and highlight what he's doing. So, so without further ado, I want to introduce Mr. Archie Moss to you and let him highlight the program that he's doing from G's to Gents. He'll tell you more about the program as well. So let's give Mr. Archie Moss a hand.
All right, so I'm probably going to do loud enough, so I'm actually going to move around for the first part. But as he mentioned, my name is Archie Moss. I'm actually a 7th grade math teacher at Whitewater Middle School. And I'm here to you today to speak to you about my prized possession, which is the Gentlemen's League. And I'm going to briefly kind of go over how I came about this project, why I felt like this project was needed here in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. Then we're actually going to turn it over. I'm going to have some of my gentlemen introduce themselves. And there's going to be some questions I'm going to actually ask them to share out to you all. And then there's going to be an opportunity for you all to ask any questions that you have to myself or to any of my students about the program or anything of that nature. So if at any time you have any questions that you think come up, feel free to make sure you take note of those so we could make sure we have those addressed over the course. But as I mentioned, this summer I had the opportunity of working with Ms. Charity Bell, who is the Northeast Learning Community Superintendent, through a program called Aspiring Leaders. And through that program, we had to come up with some type of summer project. Some project, we had to find something that we saw a problem with and find some type of means to address those issues. And so the main issue that I saw in Charlotte Mecklenburg school system was the disparities facing our African American males and our Hispanic American males, where our students were not performing at grade level in math and reading, and where they were significantly receiving higher suspension rates than any other demographic across the district. So I felt that that was a huge issue. So I came up with the Gentlemen's League. And the Gentlemen's League basically is a mentorship program that is seeking to intervene in the lives of our at-risk males or just our adolescent males in general. So it seeks 3 purposes: to educate, to empower, and to enrich. So we refer to that as E3, and the boys know E3 in a different way because actually our motto at Whitewater is excellence is expected every day. So I kind of played off our E3 motto and actually used that to incorporate educate, empower, and enrich. So we have a series of different activities and different things that we do with the gentlemen just to ultimately teaching them the fundamentals of being a gentleman, of being a man, and leading them from a path of violence or a path of crime and leading them on the path of success. So when I talk about why this project meant something for me, I was born and raised in Miami-Dade County. I went to a Title I public school all my life. I was that black student that the teachers wrote off. I had teachers tell me I wasn't going to make it. I had teachers tell me, why do I continue coming to school every day? There was nights I went home, I didn't have running water. There was nights I went home, I didn't have lights on. So when I walk through my hallways of Whitewater Middle School every single day and I see my students, I see myself in them every single day. And so it means so much more to me than just me saying I'm starting a mentorship program to hopefully change some lives. This is life or death for our gentlemen. We have to start doing something to get them on these right paths because society, the systems that are in place are not set up for our students to be successful if they just go to school 8 to 4 and think that at 4 o'clock everything's going to be solved, things are going to work, we're going to move on, everyone's going to be going off ready to be college or career ready. So it means something more to me. Like these gentlemen, these are my boys. These are my sons. So and I have this year actually, last year I worked with 30 gentlemen, this year I actually increased to 55. It's a lot. But all 55 of those boys I have now adopted as my own. And I do everything I have to do every single day to make sure that they know they can and will be successful. And I think that's what we do in the Gymnast League, making sure that we put them on those paths to be successful. So as I mentioned before, these are the rates. This is Charlotte-Mecklenburg School's suspension rates. So out of all the students with a suspension, 66% of those students are actually males. So we see that there is an issue. Our male students are getting in lots of more trouble than our female students. And then we break down all students with a suspension, and we break it down by our males who actually have a suspension. 69% of those students are African American. So it helped me really frame my target audience when I started looking at these demographics, because something has to be done. And if we just sit back and think that things are going to change on its own, it's not going to happen. So I always say, if not now, then when? And if not us, then who? Because no one else is going to do this work if we don't start putting in the effort to make things happen at this time. So as I mentioned, there's the different components of the Gymnast League program. Like I said, they all are centered around those three themes of to educate, to empower, and to enrich. And so in our education phase, we're talking about educating not only our students, not only the gentlemen who are in the program, through different workshop series on financial literacy, on how to write a check, how to balance a checkbook, how to balance, how to dress for success. I know last year, and they'll probably will mention that when I start asking some of the questions. They'll tell you that one of the first sessions I had last year was just how to tie a tie. And a lot of them just did not know. They never had someone to kind of show them what it is, how to tie a tie, and how it is to actually be a gentleman. Those are some of the things I'm trying to do, is really to educate them. There's also a tutoring component, because of course we see the demographics in our achievement gap, where our African American males, our Hispanic American males are not on grade level in reading and math. So there's a tutoring requirement that all students will be required to go to X amount of hours. And some of those students who are excelling academically, they're going to be serving as peer tutors, because not all our students that are in our program are behavior issues. Some of them have social issues. Some of them have different things. Everyone brings something different to the table. And I think the biggest point I wanted to mention with our education phase is the PD for our CMS staff members, because I think that's where a lot of the problem lies with working with our adolescent males, is when it comes to our CFS staff, our CMS staff members. I'm in the schools, so I see it every single day, where there are some mindset issues with some of our educators that are put in front of our gentlemen or put in front of our students on every given day. And it's not, we're doing a disservice to our students by not having these crucial conversations with our staff members about, are you afraid of your students? Because some of the staff members who I have interacted with on a daily basis actually are afraid of their students. And if you're afraid of your student, there is no way that you're going to have any impact on them. You're never going to be able to push them to that next level. So we have those crucial conversations. I actually had the opportunity to do that through that PD at my school, and I started to see some changes and some mindset issues, because unless we start talking about it, things are never going to change. Then we have the empowering. So our students actually serve as, we have an ambassadors program where we're starting to try to put our male students, we're trying to change the perception that we have. We know that in the media, in society, there aren't a lot of positive things that are going on. And so we're trying to put a lot of that out there. So they're going to be serving as our ambassadors. When we have events, these are the students we're calling on to represent our schools, to represent our district, because we need to make sure that people are made aware that what you hear is not what it actually is all the time. And there are some students that are doing good work in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, and specifically Whitewater Middle School. Mentoring, so of course that's the biggest component, where all of our students are going to be paired up with a mentor. Some of the mentors are going to be teachers or staff members at our school. We also partner with UNC Charlotte, so we have some of our University of North Carolina Charlotte students who are actually serving as mentors. We also have some of our Johnson C. Smith students who are serving as mentors, as well as some community members. So really having those students have a one-on-one relationship with the mentors to help guide them along the path. And then Fresh Fridays, which I love every week. We actually do it every other week, and that's just an opportunity for our students to dress up. We dress up, we get fresh on Fridays, and they like it. They didn't realize it was every other Friday, and so last week, it was an off week, and we still had, I think Carlos dressed up on Friday. They still, every week, they're like, oh, well, can we still dress up? Absolutely. And I just started to notice the difference in behavior when you put a student in a shirt and a tie. and they start behaving differently, and they act differently, and they know when they walk in the door, they're about business, and they're about to get a good education. I think those are the type of things I'm trying to change as well. And the last part is enrichment. So we actually are currently working on our community service. We have a month project where we are facilitating a canned food drive at my school. We're trying to raise 1,000 cans or food non-perishable items to address the hunger issues taking place in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. So that's basically a premise to the program, what all we do, how I came about with it. And at this point, I'm going to actually turn over to my gentlemen, who I know are really excited, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves and what grade they're in.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carlos Means, and I'm in the 8th grade.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamirius, and I'm in 8th grade.
Good afternoon. My name is King, and I'm in 7th grade.
Good afternoon. I'm Marquavius Johnson, and I am in the 7th grade.
All right, so we're going to open up. We're going to start the panel off by simply having you all just tell me. We're going to start off with your future aspirations. So at this point, at this present moment, I know it's not that long ago, where do you foresee yourself being in the future?
Well, in the future, I see myself going to Division I or Division II college, but I really want to go to Oregon, Homer Ducks. And what I want to do in the future is go and play in the NFL, because I hear a lot of people telling me I'm a good athlete, I'm healthy, and stuff like that.
Well, first I want to go to college, and the college I want to go to is called SCAD, Savannah's College of Art and Design, because I want to be a fashion designer when I grow up.
When I grow up, the college I would like to go to is, I'm not sure yet, but it's either University of Florida or
That's the
UNC.
right answer. Good answer.
And so, like, when I grow up, I want to play for the soccer team, since I have a whole lot of people saying I'm, like, very good, and I have and I'm smart on it.
My goal is to go to a college called UTI to do with cars. I really love cars, and that's just something I really like to look into.
All right, so we're going to start by simply asking you, what made you want to be a part of the Gentlemen's League? And any of you could take that question.
Well, I want to be a part of the Gentlemen's League because, like, in 5th grade in elementary school, I wasn't that bright. Like, I make stupid decisions. I go around making fun of people, playing around. And then in 6th grade, Mr. Moss, I had him as my math teacher, and he helped me get on the right track and stuff like that. In 7th grade, he asked me did I want to be in the Gentlemen's League, and it helped me change and become better. And I said, yeah, why not? So when I got into 8th grade, my attitude was different. I was making good grades, and I became a better man.
And what I do want to highlight is one thing that, as a teacher, that we always want to not get ourselves in is not, when you have students who another teacher might have had in the past, they come that before school starts, they bring you a list, and they say, these are the ones to look out for. And so that's why I always like being a 6th grade teacher, because I never had the opportunity, I always started brand new. But actually, that changed before the beginning of last school year, where actually the elementary school teacher reached out to me and sent me a name. And she told me to watch out for this student. And we actually had a conversation about it. And they told me to watch out for this student because he was going to cause major havoc. And that was Mr. Marquavius Townsend. And I have never had any problem with Marquavius. And so it goes back to my point about those mindset issues. I didn't go into things thinking that Marquavius was going to be an issue. And Marquavius has never even spoke out at me or any of his teachers. Have you ever been to the principal's office?
No, ma'am. I mean, no,
That's twice today. Have you ever been in ISS?
No, sir.
Have you ever been in detention?
No, sir.
And this is what the teacher from his elementary school told me was going to be